Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time checking out my videos, appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. If you like it, consider subscribing. It really helps me out, and I appreciate knowing you guys are out there watching my videos. So, it's winter here in New Jersey, and as you can see, things are quite frozen. And that means one thing. That means it's Axial Ryft time. This is by far my favorite RC to run in these conditions. There's just so many fun things you can play around on in the woods with the snow and ice, with the Ryft. Yeah, you can take out other RCs. I just don't think they're as much fun. You can see just how crazy these things can get, just driving up trees and popping off logs and roots and rocks. And I always have so much fun with the Ryft, and surprisingly, it holds up pretty damn well in the cold conditions. We are both running Axial stiffener tubes, either like beef tubes or the SSD inserts that, basically strengthen the axles. If you've run RCs in cold weather, you know that the plastic gets really kind of fragile and brittle. It just breaks a lot easier. So having the stiffener tubes that are either aluminum or brass inside the axle really helps a lot. They can still break, but chances are it's really going to hold up well. And you can see just smashing into things. We didn't break anything, this entire run, which was pretty surprising. I did find a little hairline crack in my front axle, but I honestly think it's been there for a long time. I just never noticed it before because I have it might be hard to notice in this video, but I'm running, I think we're both running a T-Bone Racing skid plate that goes under the entire front axle and protects it just from rocks and impact. So I've had that on for a long time, and I can't imagine, I don't see how the axle could have hit anything with that skid plate on there. So I think the hairline crack has been there for a while, but it's held up great. And again, it's because the axle tube's inside. So highly recommend if you're going to get a Ryft. There's a couple basic mods that you'll need to do to make it strong enough to withstand some abuse. And axle tubes would be like one of my first go-to things. Trailing arms, get some aluminum trailing arms, and carry some extra rod ends with you. They do tend to stretch out or occasionally break, but that's a cheap, easy fix. So couple mods, and these things are really tough. You can see here the conditions. We've had a lot of rain this year here in New Jersey, the entire Northeast, basically, probably most of the country. Honestly, we've just had like so many just huge, downpours lately, 2, 3, 4 inches at a time. A lot of flooding, and you'll see like beginning of the video, and we'll get back into it later. There's a lot of low-lying areas out in the woods that have flooded, and they're 1-2 foot deep, huge pond areas that typically aren't ponds. It's just like a low-lying area that's filled with water. And we've been talking about it. We're like, man, when these things freeze over, this is going to be so much fun. When it's frozen enough where you could walk on it, so that if you drive the truck and it flips over, gets stuck on something, that you can actually walk out on the ice and retrieve it without cracking the ice and falling through. So we finally got to that point. We had a bunch of really below freezing days in a row, and we got to the point now where we could walk on the ice, and it ended up being so much fun. Honestly, this is one of the most fun days I've had with an RC car in a long time. These conditions were perfect. The snow was the perfect depth. It was a little crunchy layer on top, powdery snow below it, so it really absorbs a lot of the impacts too, and I think that really helped with allowing these trucks to survive this kind of a beating in the cold weather. It's probably, 25 degrees when we're recording this out here. So, plastic is really brittle at these temps, but perfect conditions. I mean, so much fun. I kind of wish it stayed like this. It's warmed up since, so it may be the end of this kind of run. But you got to watch out for things like this. Sometimes you have that day where everything is just right to go out and run an RC, and we picked the right time to come out and do this, and we had a blast. So you might notice my car, Matt's is the white and black one right there. Mine has the orange and purplish body work on it right there. And you might notice mine has a little different look. I did pull it apart and I dyed. Mine had the orange cage originally, and I just kind of got tired of it. You know, I have another Ryft with a black cage, and I just like the look better. So I took the whole cage apart, cleaned it up really nicely, and I dyed it black using Ryft synthetic fabric dye. Pretty simple process. There's a lot of videos. I won't go into too much detail. There's a lot of videos online on how to do that. I think even Axial themselves had a video on how to dye the light gray cages that were coming on some of the kits. But it came out really good. I did notice I scuffed an area really kind of deep, and it did show through some of the orange again. So it's not perfect, but whatever. I think, you know, for the $12 it cost me to buy the dye, I think it was well worth it. So I really like the look. This was a cool spot, by the way. Like, this was almost like an overflow of water ran down this trail and just froze solid. So it was really cool and kind of just lumpy, and lots of roots and rocks mixed in with it. Just a ton of fun to rip this truck up and down this area. And yeah, it didn't always go so well, but you can see there the front skid plate, which, look, I mentioned it in other videos, T-Bone Racing is out of business. They made some really cool stuff. This would be a pretty easy thing to duplicate if you use some Kydex or some other type of plastic and just put little spacers under your axles. I like it. I think it has saved a lot of broken parts on my Ryft since I've had it. But yeah, so slightly different look on my Ryft there. I'm happy with it. I think the next mods I want to do are wheels and tires. Not that I'm unhappy with the stock ones. I've been running the stock ones forever on my Bouncer Ryft. And my crawler Ryft, I have another crawler setup that I just built with a 3-gear trans in it, and it's mainly just pure crawler at this point. I'm not really making it into a bouncer or a rock racer at all. I just want to see how well it's going to perform as a straight up crawler. But I did do some 3D printed inserts in that one, and I really like the feel of them. If you just drop the truck from a few feet up, it just plants itself on the ground. You don't get any like springiness or rebound or bounciness from the tires, and I think it just is going to end up being a lot more controlled. So I want to try that setup. In fact, I might just pull those wheels off and throw them on this Ryft just to see how they perform. I don't know if it's going to be a little less advantageous to have tires that soak up bumps. I kind of like the bounciness of these tires in some ways. It allows you to really spring up and off of rocks like that and gives you just a little bit more kick. But again, there's a lot of times when it kicks too much and just bounces you offline. So I'm wondering, let me know what you guys, if you guys are running 3D inserts, they're typically better. Every vehicle I've put them in, they've been better. So I have a feeling it's going to be the same with this. Let me know if you guys are running them and which ones, if you do have them, and if you like them or not. But I think I'm going to try them on this just for the heck of it. The other good thing is if you do run it through water or snow in this case, and you get water inside your tires, it's not going to degrade like the stock foams would. So that's going to be my next mod, and I think I love this truck enough where I'm going to spend some extra money and do up some nice wheels on it. On my crawler Ryft, I just threw some trio wheels on it, and really happy with the look. And so I might do the same with this, but we'll see. There's always more RCs to spend money on, but yeah. So check out my subscribe if you want to see the video on my crawler Ryft build. It's pretty much done. I have some video recorded already, and I'm just waiting to get out and run it before I put out an actual entire video. But I was impressed with how well these perform. Even in this section here, like, this is pretty much what the Ryft is meant for. This would be more of like a scale, like rock bouncing, rock racing section. And even in the snow and ice, it just, claws its way through it like no problem. Yeah, had a blast with these things, and you'll definitely be seeing a lot more videos, especially if we continue to have snow and ice. Little snowplow backflip here.
Nice, dude.
And yeah, that's it. I mean, I think you'll see every video I make of the Ryft, I say how great it is. It's definitely, I hate picking up favorites of anything, but I honestly have to say at this point, it is my favorite RC. I never have a bad time taking this out. So if you're thinking about getting one, I highly recommend it. especially if you have wooded areas to play around in. You're gonna love it. So thanks for checking out the video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.